She sits by the window where the light falls soft and tired the way light does when it has seen too much of the world. The phone rests beside her on the table, its screen cracked at the corner like a wound that never healed. Every night she writes a message to a number that does not answer. She types slowly, as if each word must cross a river to reach her heart. She tells her daughter about the weather, about the small things, about how the roses are late this year, and how the house still smells like her shampoo, though she has washed every sheet twice. She does not look at the send button, she only feels it. She presses it like a prayer sent into a silence too vast to echo back. Some nights, she wonders where the messages go, maybe into the sky, maybe into some place between memory and dream, where her daughter still lives, laughing, still asking for coffee, still saying, "Mom, you're overreacting." She can almost hear her voice, and that almost is what keeps her breathing. People have stopped asking how she is. They have learned that there is no good way to answer a question like that. Grief is not a season that passes, it is a country you learn to live in without a map. She moves through her days like a traveler who forgot why she began the journey, folding clothes that no one will wear, cooking for two and throwing half away. She walks through stores and stops by the cereal aisle, remembering how her daughter always chose the box with the cartoon on it because life is too short to eat plain things. She smiles for a moment, and then the smile slips away like rain from glass. Phone buzzes, sometimes not with replies, but with reminders, old updates, old memories. Little digital ghosts that float up without warning like whispers from another life. One morning, she finds a voicemail she had missed years ago. Her daughter laughing, saying she was running late for work. The sound cuts through her like light through fog. She listens to it again and again until the phone grows warm in her hand. Neighbors say time heals, but she has learned that time only rearranges the pain. It does not take it away. It teaches you how to hold it quietly so it stops breaking you in public. She sits by her daughter's room, sometimes the door half open, the air still thick with perfume, the posters fading on the wall, the bed made as if she might walk in any minute. She keeps the phone on the nightstand, and every few hours she checks it, not for messages but for proof that the world has not forgotten her daughter existed. And she tried to delete the number. She told herself it was time. She reached for the contact list, her fingers trembling, but when she saw her daughter's name glowing there, she froze. It felt like deleting the last bridge between them. She closed the phone and whispered, "Not yet, maybe tomorrow." But tomorrow never came in that wave. Phone company once reassigned the number. A stranger answered her message. She apologized, said wrong number, but later she wrote again, this time longer, explaining who she was and why she wrote. She did not expect a reply, but the stranger sent back a single line. "I will keep the messages safe." She cried for the first time in months because somewhere someone had seen her words and did not turn away. The city changes around her. The world moves with noise and motion, but her world has slowed to the rhythm of the heart that beats for two. She walks the same route her daughter used to take to school. The trees older, the pavement cracked in new places. She remembers the way her daughter used to skip the last few steps, humming some song no one else knew. She can still see her there, sunlight caught in her hair, wind tugging at her sleeve, and for a second the world feels full. Again at night, the stars look like tiny phone screens blinking in the distance. She wonders if her daughter reads her messages among them, if the words float past constellations. If heaven has a signal strong enough for love. She writes about her day. She writes about the silence. She writes because writing is the only way to make the air move inside her chest. There was a time she tried therapy. She sat in a soft room with gentle light. The woman asked her to talk about acceptance, but acceptance felt like betrayal. How can you accept the vanishing of a heartbeat that once answered yours? She left early, and on the way home she texted her daughter again, saying, "I tried, I really tried today." She keeps all the messages in a folder, her phone full of unsent and sent words, hundreds of little digital letters, each one a piece of her heart, lined up in blue and gray bubbles. She reads them, sometimes scrolling through years of grief like pages in a diary. She can trace the shape of her healing and her breaking all at one chony morning. She wakes to find the phone dead. Battery drained. She plugs it and waits for the light to return, but it stays dark. Panic rises like a wave. She shakes it, whispers, "Please, please come back." When it finally turns on, she exhales as if she has pulled someone back from the edge. In the anniversary of her daughter's passing, she goes to the lake they used to visit. She takes the phone with her, sits by the water, the air cold and sharp. She reads aloud the last message. She ever received love you mom, talk later. She presses the screen against her chest and whispers, I am still here. Then she types one more message saying it's beautiful today. You would have loved it. The water, the wind, everything feels like Yofer. A moment the screen flickers, she almost believes she sees a reply, but it is only the reflection of sunlight. She smiles anyway because belief is all she has left as evening falls. She walks home slowly, the world wrapped in the soft blue of dusk. She passes a group of children laughing, their voices rising. Like birds, she feels the ache, but also something else, something like warmth. She realizes grief is not the absence of love. It is the shape that love takes when it has nowhere to go back. Home. She places the phone beside her bed. She whispers goodnight like she used to when her daughter was small and afraid of the dark. She closes her eyes, and for the first time in a long time, she dreams not of the loss, but of the beginning, the small hand reaching for hers, the laughter spilling down the hall, the light in the window that has never truly gone out in her dream. Her daughter turns and says, I got your messages, every single one, and the woman smiles because somewhere beyond signal and silence, beyond numbers and names, love has found a way to answer where morning comes. Slow like a hesitant breath, the woman wakes to the sound of rain tapping gently against the glass. The phone glows faintly beside her, the light pale and alive. She picks it up, half expecting nothing, half hoping for everything. She scrolls through her old messages and stops at one from years ago. Her daughter had written, don't forget to look up, sometimes the world hides miracles in plain sight. She reads it again and again until the words start to hum inside her chest, gets dressed quietly, her hands steady, her reflection softer than she remembers. The grief still there, but no longer screaming, just sitting quietly beside her like an old friend. She makes tea for one and places a second cup across the table just as she used to. She whispers good morning, and it does not feel strange anymore. It feels like ritual, like prayer, like the language of love that never really dies. The rain falls heavier now outside, the street glistens. She watches people hurry by, umbrellas, open faces blurred. She wonders how many of them are carrying invisible stories inside their chests. How many are talking to ghosts only they can hear. She feels less alone in that thought. In the afternoon, she visits the library where her daughter used to spend hours curled up between aisles, reading books about stars and lost civilizations. She finds the same shelf, sits on the same floor, runs her fingers over the spines of the books and feels time folding gently. She opens one of the books, and inside there is a note written in her daughter's handwriting, the ink faded but still visible. It says, be kind even to your own heart. She presses the paper against her lips and breathes in the faint scent of paper and memory. She takes the note home and places it under the phone like a foundation, something that keeps the world from falling apart. That evening she writes again, hello love, you won't believe what I found today. You left me a message all this time. It was waiting here. Just like you always said, everything shows up when you are ready to see it. Days start to pass with a different rhythm. She begins to walk farther each morning. Sometimes she buys flowers for strangers, sometimes she just leaves them on benches without a note. The world feels softer in small ways. Grief still lives inside her, but now it moves differently. It hums instead of screams, it breathes instead of burns. In day she meets a young woman at the cafe. The girl drops her phone and it shatters. The woman helps her pick up the pieces. Their hands touch. The girl laughs embarrassed and says, I can't lose my messages. My mom would kill me. And something in the woman's heart shifts. She smiles and says, then back them up. Trust me. The girl laughs again, and something warm flickers between them like a candle shared in darkness. That night she sits by the window again, phone in hand, city quiet. She types another message. I met someone today. She reminded me of you, not the way you looked, but the way you existed, like sunlight pretending to be human. She pauses before sending it, then presses the button and watches the message disappear into the night. Weeks pass. She starts writing not just to her daughter, but about her. She fills notebooks with words, stories, memories, dreams. The pages smell like ink and rain. She reads them aloud, sometimes as if her voice could carve a doorway through time. The phone is old now, its battery fading faster each day. She thinks maybe that is how love works, too strong in the beginning, then quieter but deeper as it settles into the soul. She wonders if she will ever stop texting, and the answer comes softly inside her, no, because love needs somewhere to go. Morning, she wakes to find a new message, the number unfamiliar. She hesitates before opening it. It says, this number belonged to my mother. She passed away Recently, but your messages were beautiful. They made me feel less alone. Thank you. The woman stares at the screen, tears rising slow and tender. She types back, she would be proud of you. And for the first time, her fingers do not shake. She closes the phone and steps outside. The sky clear, the air clean. She walks until the city opens into a park. The same one where she used to push her daughter on the swings. She sits on the same bench, listens to the same wind, feels the same sun, and realizes that maybe heaven is not somewhere far away. Maybe it is here in the spaces where love refuses to vanish. When she returns home, she places the phone on the table, and for the first time in years, she does not reach for it. Instead, she lights a candle. Beside it, watches the flame dance. She whispers, I will still write. But not because you are gone, because you are everywhere. She closes her eyes and feels a quiet peace settle. Like dust after rain, time moves on gently, and the world carries her forward. She finds herself laughing again, once at a movie, once at herself, and once for no reason at all, and each time she laughs, she feels her daughter's voice inside it, like harmony in a song. In the end, there is no final message, no goodbye, only the hum of a phone that still glows faintly in the dark, the proof that love once spoken never truly fades, it only changes shape, becomes light, becomes air, becomes the silence that listens back.